next year. I love this time of year. I love when the weather turns. You ever have that around this time of year when you walk out and you notice something that you don't remember since last summer, since last spring? Maybe the smell of fresh cut grass or a sight, and it takes you somewhere else. You know what I'm talking about? And it happens sometimes. It's okay. And it happens sometimes with music too, no? You'll hear a song on the radio you haven't heard for 2 years, 3 years, 8 years, and it'll take you away to another place, perhaps another country. It's amazing the power of music, and we use that here. You all know we use that here. All you have to do is listen to each other and the hoarse voices that you guys possess now, and still you sang on. It's okay. But still, listening to you speak over Shabbos, the prevailing thing I heard was this, to paraphrase you: it's not easy. It's so easy here. It's so easy when you're surrounded by 200 other people, Jews, your age, that feel the same passion as you. You don't notice Shabbos passing. You don't notice keeping it when you have 200 other people to sing with you. But you say in 2 weeks from now, in 2 months from now, when the song in your head fades a little bit, it's hard to hear it then. That's what you said. I'm going to tell you 2 ways that I hope, Ezrat Hashem, will help you to hear the music that you cannot hear when your moment of truth, when your big decision comes. Not now, not tomorrow, not when you get back from the Shabbaton, when your energy is high and it's easy, but later on, when it's hard. Bad karma, I suppose.
Or boring.
When I was your age, a long time ago, I lived on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And I, like many of the guys here, was very, very much a ball player. And I wasn't religious, but I had, in my young Israel, we had a basketball team. Some of the boys, in fact, from the Upper West Side chapter played for the very same team. And we had a tradition for every single game, as we would gather each other together, one by one, walking to each other's houses, picking up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 6 to 8 to 10 till we had the final 12, and then we'd walk together to the game. We felt it was our bond, our achdus. And there was a particular guy that played ball with me named Robert. And Rob was number 6 on the stop list. And one day, when we came to Rob's apartment, we beheld the most bizarre thing. He lived, if I recall, on the 4th floor. And as we came to the door, we heard music blasting, blaring, louder than we were playing the music a few minutes ago. Except it wasn't the kind of music that's supposed to be blasted. It was classical music. It was Brahms, maybe Bach. And we came inside, and if that wasn't weird enough to hear that blasted, the sight that we saw was even stranger. Because there, with her back turned to us, was Rob's mother. And Rob's mother, we saw her all around the neighborhood. Oh, as she was known, she was very big into fitness. And so we'd see her around coming from her exercise, dressed in the sweats. And what we saw from her was amazing, because she was dancing. But she was dancing to this music as if it were dance music. And it was bizarre to see, picture this classical concerto playing and the lady moving around in a way that makes no sense. But sometimes Sometimes a little bit of perspective changes the whole meaning of a story. Because you see, there's one thing about Robert's mother I didn't tell you. Robert's mother was deaf. And Rob's mother, when she would exercise in an attempt to look normal, she would put on music. And he thought it would be kind of funny to swap out the dance music so she would look normal with classical music. Because you see, there's a truth. There's a quote by Angela Monet, and it's a truth that we all here know, and those of us back in our schools might not know. Listen close. Those who danced were judged to be quite insane by those who could not hear the music. Those who danced were judged to be quite insane by those who could not hear the music. Now we hear the music here. We hear the music now. But your question is, what do we do in 2 months from now when we can't hear the music? I'll tell you. I'll tell you, and I'll tell you with a story. I'd like to thank the person in the audience who suggested the story to me. Once upon a time, there was a young entrepreneur. The story is true. I read it in Business Week. And the young entrepreneur had a goal, and that was to be successful. And as anyone who knows anything about American society knows, that meant one thing and one thing only: money. And he had a plan, as many of us should have, from the time he was young, written down. The APs he would take, to the colleges he would get into, to the master's program he would get into, to the firm he would get into. And one by one by one, those goals became a reality. Until finally, he made it to the brokerage, he made it to the firm. And he set up for himself a new goal. And he bought something, a hecker, a reminder. And he put it on his desk to remind him of what his goal was. He went to the store, and he bought a mini Ferrari. The Jaguar, I'm sorry. He bought a mini Jaguar, and he put it on his desk because he wanted to see every day when he came to work that which he was working for. And on the day when he got his bonus, he went to the store and he put down the down payment to buy his Jaguar. And you can imagine the embrace. He was wearing his jacket. He was in the Jag. He was driving probably a little faster than he ought to. Going uptown, Manhattan, around 120th Street, 130th Street. As he was driving, he was being very careful not to in his new car. Bang! Into the side of the passenger door. He didn't know what it was. Something had slammed into the side of his Jaguar. And he looked to the right and he looked to the left. And he didn't see any cars. And he slowed down. And he ran out to inspect the door and caved in the side of the door. It was a big dent. And a few feet away, on the floor, there was a brick. He looked at the brick, and he looked a few feet behind, and there was a young boy, about 12 years old, standing there, stunned. The man looked at the boy and said, "Did you see who threw this brick?" And the boy said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "Who threw this brick?" And the boy said, "I did." And the man got furious. He went to the boy, he grabbed him by both shoulders, he pushed him against the wall. He said, "Do you know how hard I work for this? How dare you?" And the boy cried. He goes, "I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do." He goes, "What else to do? Don't bash a hole in the side of my car. I'll give it 1,000 other things to do." And the kid says, "No, you don't understand. I did something very bad and I needed help. You see, my younger brother, who's 8, he has cerebral palsy. And I was trusted to watch him today. And I was pushing him in the wheelchair, and I know, mister, you're not supposed to push him too fast, but he laughed so much every time I did it, I couldn't help it.